Hi guys! So it's the last week of One Book July and I wanted to do another update. There has been more exciting and shocking drama in my One Book July universe. So first of all, as usual, I have been using my main two planners, which I absolutely love and am completely happy with. The personal planner, the Hobonichi Weeks, and the work planner, the Hobonichi Cousin. As you might know, the Weeks has got a new home. This is my absolute unicorn Weeks cover. It's the Love by Gabby Traveler's Notebook, which I will link down below. And I'll also link the review that I did of it in case you're interested. So I've been using my weekly pages in the same way as before, and that's working really, really well. I would never want to go back to using it for less now that I've seen how much it can include. That was actually, I think, the main victory of One Book July for me, or one of them this year, is that it really forced me to test how much I could get into this, and that was a very, very fun challenge. So I was kind of dreading at first the idea of downsizing and just going into 2 books, but yeah, not even 1 book, I know. but I think this was a really, really positive thing that came out of it, and it was something that I enjoyed, like seeing just how much can you fit in this. So the appointments and the events are absolutely fine on this side. I never need any more room. I think that that's because I've got my planner split into work and personal, so it's not a problem. And then I have gratitude here, and then I have the finances here, and then I have to-dos on the right side, and that's still working really well, dividing them into roughly AM and PM. And then the highlight of the week and any other notes that I need for the week. With the monthly pages, I'm still using them, well, in theory at least. As you can see, I haven't been doing a very good job, but these are supposed to be for meal planning. And then this is for vision, like things that I'd like to happen. And this is to keep track of online orders. And then I've got the notes pages in the back, which I'm actually looking forward to my new weeks coming, well, being able to start my new weeks in December, because I would organize the back completely differently than how I did this time. And I've actually worked out that I don't need to dedicate as many pages to specific types of notes, because one page can actually last a long time since you've got the grids, which help to keep your writing small. So I've got things to see in the cinema, films to watch at home, and TV shows. And I think that if I allocated this page and like say 1 or maximum 2 more pages to it, that would be totally fine for the year, which renders the Cinephile redundant. And that is one thing that I'm not sure about. The Cinephile is a traveler's notebook, as you probably know, that James and I had been using to keep track of films that we want to see, but it's actually much more convenient having it in here. So I'm kind of torn, because again, I really like the simplicity of just having everything accessible in here, but on the other hand, that means one less beautiful planner to use. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that, but I'm definitely going to keep everything in here. So it would really only be a question of whether I copy it into the other planner as well, just so that I can have that one to use, and I'm not sure whether that makes sense. A similar issue has been going on again with my finance planner. Last week I said, yeah, I'm definitely going to go back into using this. I'm going to keep the finance information in here and then copy it over to here as well. But then look what happened. This is last week. I didn't copy anything over, and I didn't even realize that I hadn't done it. I only realized it today when I came to do this video and I got out the finance planner. I was thinking, I don't remember using this in a while. So this is obviously this week. And I somehow thought that I'd filled in last week, but I haven't. So I'm really not sure what that says. I think that, again, the issue is that it's more convenient having everything in here and not having to copy it over. But I think sometimes the mood strikes me, as it did the previous week. I copied everything over into here, and I was saying, yeah, I really like having everything in here because this is a dedicated finance planner. And I even wrote out some monthly goals. Well, I wrote like a goal of, say, £300, and then remember, you have abundance, which I kind of like to fill in this monthly spread. So I'm not sure what to do about this again. And it's exactly the same issue as with the Cinephile, that like I love this planner. I like getting it out. I like the feel of it. I like using it. It's nice and chunky and satisfying, and it's beautiful, and I like the inserts. But it is a little bit redundant with all the information in here, because once you've written everything out and that week is done, then it's kind of like I can't be bothered, or I don't have time to then go and copy it all into here. Although it does look much nicer and neater in here, as I said, because there's only financial information in this. There's no other stuff that I have to look at it that's competing for my attention, I guess. But realistically, I don't usually go back and check the old financial information. I only use it to keep track of my bank balance so that I know how I'm doing, and towards the end of the month I can make sure that I don't suddenly go into my overdraft because things have gone out of my account that I wasn't expecting. So it is actually fulfilling its purpose being in here. It's just that there's something nice about having a dedicated finance planner, and I would be so sad to think that I wasn't using this anymore, and it's a perfect design for a finance planner. So that's still a question mark. Then there have been another couple of changes. Last time I had gone back to using this. This is my home planner, the Jewish calendar, inside a Disc Agenda Diva cover. And I was really happy for this to come back because I missed the stickers and the kind of pretty planning. So I set up this week. When I say set up, there's really not that much to it. It's just James was in the market, I was at home and I was the only person looking at it. And I filled in also Mochi was taking antibiotics because he tore his claw, which is thankfully all better now. So I put that in, but obviously that was also in here, so I never actually looked at it. And then I had this out on the desk and I just wasn't really using it or looking at it throughout the rest of the week. And I also didn't go back to the meal planner. So this is probably an issue because life would be better with a meal planner. It was definitely a lot better when I was using a meal planner. And part of it is that, I've been saying to myself, well, the meal planner is in here. And because James was working in the market all week, he wasn't at home very much. Well, he wasn't at home except for the evenings. And so we just kind of did that on an ad hoc basis, and I sort of felt like, what's the point of meal planning if it's just me at home? I'll just work it out as I go along. And there's certainly no point in putting it into here because this is supposed to be a joint meal planner and James hasn't been at home, so I won't bother with that. But I think that maybe part of what makes it successful is having something nice to look at. So when I was doing this regularly, it was exciting. It was something that I looked forward to because I liked the stickers and I liked how, pretty and decorated it was. And it's kind of like another sort of creative outlet. And then you're excited to fill things in and you're excited to check it. So I think that might be some of the issue. And since the meal planning has gone into here, because this is just very, very functional. Obviously, I could decorate this, but I don't because my style in this is, as you know, it's just a little bit of coloring in and that's it. So it wouldn't look the same as this does when this is decorated. So I'm really not sure what to do about that either. So in this respect, One Book July has simplified things, but at the same time it has caused a sort of planner crisis because I'm not really sure whether I should go back to these ones that I was using before, which I think were helpful but aren't strictly necessary. So this is something of a conundrum, which I aim to figure out, although there's no exact deadline for it. And another thing, obviously, is that I love this planner as well. I love the Disc Agenda. This was the Disc Agenda Turquoise with the Disc Agenda Diva inserts, and this is the actual Disc Agenda Diva with the Jewish calendar inserts. So those have these three have all kind of gone on hold again, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. It makes me sad to see them on the shelf not being used, although I still love looking at them on the shelf because they're beautiful. I'd like to figure out a way to incorporate them, but only if it's actually going to be beneficial in some way. But I would consider having fun decorating them and getting possible use out of having a nice planner to look at, which kind of motivates you to use it in terms of meal planning, is beneficial. So that is to be continued. Then the work planner is exactly the same. I love this. I couldn't ever imagine moving into anything different. Sometimes I occasionally toy with the idea of moving into an A6 if they were to include a weekly layout in it, like they do for the cousin, because I can't manage without the weekly layout for this. I would be kind of curious to attempt that just to see if I could get everything into the smaller size. Like if it was an exact copy of this, but it was just A6 instead of A5, I would try that to see, because it would be nice if I had a smaller planner to carry with me, especially when I'm carrying two of them. But I mean, as it is, I just love this. The layout, the design, everything about it is perfect. So nothing has changed there. And I've still been using this A6 as my daily planner. So that is fantastic. I really, really like that. And the one problem with this is, as I had expected, that because this is dated and I want to use this now because, you know, it's there, it's got the dates, and now that I've started using it, I don't want to use it for something else. This is the most obvious thing that I can think of that it's really well suited for. So if I'm using this, that means that I can't use any of my 3 undated daily planners until the end of the year, which is sad because I really love Batman. Batman is a great motivator for getting things done. I love My Little Pony, and this has a dot grid Moleskine notebook inside it, which I love as well. I love the dot grid. And this is a Stalogy notebook, which is also very pleasing. So I'm not really sure, because obviously because these are undated, it's not like they're going to expire or they'll be wasted, so I can come back to them later. But here's the thing. In September, when the new Hobos come out, should I get another one of these for 2017? That is the dilemma. Because as it is, I can say I've already got this, so I'm just using it up. Whereas when the new ones come out, that would be a completely new planning decision to make, and I'm not sure, because the A6, I think I've proven that it's definitely big enough for the daily planning. This was quite a busy day of daily planning, and there was still another column. So I think that's fine. There's some days when I don't use it, which is a little bit of a waste, but then I have used it, I'd say most days I've written at least something in it since I started using it, so I don't feel like whole vast swaths are going unused. It's, you know, like maybe a day here or there, but I really like having a daily planner, so I think that's not a problem. The dilemma is just whether I would like to have this be a permanent rotation, a permanent element of my planning system, in which case there would be no room for rotating with the undated planners. The thing that would be cool about it is that then I would officially have a use for all 3 Hobonichis. They would all be part of my planning system, and I really like the idea of that. So I'm not quite sure yet. That is something to think about. Let me know if you have an opinion on it. Obviously, the prudent thing to do would not be buy another planner. Use these. Use them up. Be prudent. Not spend more money on unnecessary planners. So I have a feeling that I'm probably going to end up going the other way and getting another one for 2017. I think that if I do get another one of these, it would be the full year version rather than the Avec, because I'd like having it to look back on and see all of the delicious daily planning. But realistically, by July of next year, I might have changed again and be doing something completely different for daily planning, so I don't know if that's a good idea. But those are my thoughts on the daily planner. Then I've also been using the quote book, which I mentioned before that I was using this, and this isn't really a planner, so I don't feel like this was ever technically cheating on the One Book July setup, because it's just a list of quotes that I'd like to have available. But I have been using that. And then there has been one more dramatic change. I know, so much drama all in one video. How could this all have happened in 1 week? Ta-da! What is this? So I said that I somehow had stopped using this and that I hadn't been using the meal planning. But instead, over the course of the week, I was looking at my planner shelf, pondering which planners are being used, which planners are not being used. And first of all, I've kind of missed this Coco Travel Wallet, which used to be my week's cover, and I'm absolutely happy with this one. I think this is the perfect week's cover because it's got the closure strap, and I just think it's magnificent for the weeks as a wallet as well. But I really, really like this too. And so I started experimenting, and I have this Traveler's Notebook personal sized insert from Happy Scrappy. Some of you have probably seen this on Instagram already. And I just bought this because I really like the design, because it's planner nerd, and it has all these like cute planner stationery pictures, and it has this really interesting layout on the inside where it has a weekly checklist, like a habit tracker with some gridded notes pages at the bottom, and then it has a week on 2 pages, which is really cute. And then it has what looks to me like a perfect meal planning setup, and then some room for like a shopping list or notes about the meal planning, I guess. And then it's got another page of notes, and then it repeats itself. So it has enough for 8 weeks. And when I bought this, I didn't have a use for it in mind, but I was buying a whole bunch of different inserts from Happy Scrappy, and it made sense to order it at the same time because it was, it's only a bit more. If you're ordering, they're $6.99. So it's kind of, I guess it works out as being kind of a lot if you were to use this for the whole year because you need 6 of them, but then compared to a planner, not really. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I had this and I liked it, and I was feeling sad that I don't use traveler's notebooks and I couldn't imagine when I would use it. So then I decided to put it in here, and it fits really well. There's a bit of extra space at the top, but not so much that it looks unsightly. I think it fits quite well. And it looks really nice. It's slimline, but it fits. I like it. So then I was thinking, what could I possibly do with this? And you can see already that I'm getting out of the One Book July mindset. I think mentally I've just decided that somehow like One Book July is kind of over for me. As you can see, I mean, really, it's only 3 Book July. I'm not doing too badly. But I think one of the things that I have observed this time around is that I really, really miss having lots of different planners and switching in and out of planners. And because I've got my main 2 planners set, these are totally fixed and I don't want to switch them. And then I've got this one is the daily planner, which I don't count because there's no unique information that goes in this. This just is like a kind of filtering system for taking the things out of here and the things out of here and then putting them onto a list format day by day, if you see what I mean. So it's not like I need to have this with me if I go out, for example. It doesn't have any extra information. It doesn't have appointments. It's just to-do lists. So I kind of don't really count that, but it is part of the system. So I don't have any planners that I can switch out, and I miss that. I worked this out for a few months ago that I like having the possibility of rotating something, because I think most of us planner addicts get bored with just having the same system and we want to try something new, and that's one of the reasons why we end up feeling like we don't have planner peace and that we're just like kind of jumping from one planner to another. I think part of it is just the excitement of trying new planners, and I don't see what's wrong with that. So I was thinking, like, what could I do with this? What could I do with this? And then it kind of struck me that this would actually be really good as a home planner, because it has this very simple week on 2 page layout. The one thing that I don't like about it, obviously, is that it's undated, but I thought, okay, I'd really like to use this. And the other thing that I'd like to do with it is when it's finished, I'd like to cut this out and put it in my weeks, because I just love it. And I think it would be really nice as a weeks dashboard. But I didn't want to cut the cover off until I'd used it. So it was kind of like a catch-22, because I was like, well, I can't cut the cover off until I've used it, but I can't think of anything to use it for. So I'm never going to be able to put this in my weeks. And so I thought, okay, I'll just put in all of our joint appointments in here. This is very easy because I don't need any stickers. I'm just writing things in. It's really basic, and it's very light and portable. It's easy for us to check. And we were thinking it might actually be more useful than this, which I really like, but this is quite big and bulky. And if it's on the desk, then you don't really get it out. And I don't know, it somehow hasn't been that accessible, I guess, in a way, even though I really like it. So here we can put in habit tracking, or like kind of recurring schedule. So this is days when James is in the market next week. This is days when I'm out. Then we thought we could track like cycle workout type things, and the Tails and Mochi are like going to the dog sitters one day, so that kind of stuff. And then weekly schedule, and then this is where we'd put the meal planning, and then this is where we'd put the shopping list for anything to do with the meal planning. So I thought it would be quite efficient having all of this in one place, and this is a really nice layout because you just have it all together, and then it just, it sort of repeats. So once I sort of got into it, I thought this is actually a really functional layout for a home planner, because you've got all of those main things that you need to keep track of. And it's this like cute little planner, and it's in this cocoa cover. So this is my new experiment. I'm not swearing that this will last for a long time. I'd like to use up the insert, but knowing me, that might not happen. But it doesn't really bother me because, again, this is just a supplement. It's not like we actually depend on this as in we need to go back and check appointments, because all of the appointments are already in one of these other planners anyway, or in James's planner. So this is just like a way for us to both keep current with what's happening and to be able to do the meal planning together. That might be a little bit more portable and convenient than having it in these bigger books. So I don't know, I'll see. That's the most recent development, and I think that that definitely breaks the spirit of One Book July. But as others in the same situation have said, we're all in agreement, and, you know, Romany and Vicky and Carrie Harling are also all in agreement that the point of One Book July isn't to make yourself suffer for a month. It's to figure out what you, get back to basics, figure out what you need and what you don't need. And I think last year, I kind of started off thinking I can't possibly get rid of all these planners, and then I got it down to 3 in the end, and the personal planner, work planner, and home planner, and the rest of them were just reference books. This year I've kind of gone from a different angle where I started off with just 2 at the beginning of the month. I was really intent that I would just start off with 2. I knew I couldn't get down to 1, but I thought I'll start off with 2 and I'll see how that goes. And over the course of the month, I felt like I wanted to add in other things. So first the daily planner came back in, and now the home planner is coming back in. Well, it's kind of already came in a little bit last week, but this is sort of a different iteration, I guess. So actually, when you compare it to how last year's One Book July ended, it's not that different in that I had the personal planner, the home planner, and the work planner. Now I've got personal planner, home planner, work planner, and daily planner. So I've actually added one more on. But as I said, the daily planner is really just to-do lists. So somehow it seems a little bit different. So there you are. This is where things stand at the moment. I will probably do one last video if things change, just to round up the month. But this is my current planner situation as it stands. So I hope you enjoyed this. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back again soon with another video. Bye!